To begin with today, we're just going to see if we can have the feet about hip width distance, just nice and simple, rolling down through the spine. So just taking a moment to roll. And maybe you want to stay in contact with the legs or let the hands dangle. Maybe if they reach the floor, let the elbows soften. Take a few breaths down at the bottom, just to feel into the body. Maybe you also to feel the weight more into one leg. And then the other leg, so just a little bit of sway side to side. And then let's roll back up through the spine when we're ready to. And as we get up to the top, try to encourage the hips forwards. I like to support the lower back, just to see if we can go beyond up. And maybe begin to open into the heart, the chest, the neck as well, if that's comfortable, but if it's not, don't worry. You can keep the head forwards as well. And then we just try that a couple times. So just feeling into the body, into the spine, rolling down and stretching out the back and hanging and breathing. And feeling what's there. Then rolling all the way back. And beyond up. Till we're encouraging the hips forwards if we can. And then the belly lengthening. Then the chest opening. And maybe one day even the chin, even the tongue can reach up and back, even the eye. And then let's see if we can go slightly differently. We're going to bring the hands a little higher. So with the hand, if we interlace the fingers behind the head, we're sort of pressing the head and the hands against each other. Just standing here to press the head and hands against each other to feel how much can I activate the back of the body when I press the head back. But I give it something to press against by putting the elbows forward. So the hands begin to pull against the head. As I try and draw the elbows forwards, does that give me a sense of engaging and working the front body? So maybe you can find a little bit of extra length in the spine through that engagement of hands against the head, head against hand. Try all the time to keep the shoulders down, so you're lengthening the neck rather than tensing up as you pull and push. And then from here, let's see if we can roll. Roll the chin to the chest, roll the elbows towards the knees. Let the elbows come a little bit narrow. And roll down, and this time just curl into a little ball with the spine. Elbows to the knees, or to the thighs if you can get higher than the knees. And if you don't reach, just reaching towards the knees, wherever that is, wherever that arrives. And feeling what's happening through the back, through the belly. And then to roll up. Again, still with that contact of hands and head. Not enough to hurt the body, just enough to feel the engagement. So we're pulling and pushing just to enliven. As we get up to the top, maybe you can, again, try to push the hips forwards and see how much you can push the elbows toward. So you can go beyond up, still supporting the head, still trying to draw those shoulders down. Elbows not too wide. If the elbows come wide, then you're stretching across the chest. But if they come narrow, then we stretch a little bit more through the line of the belly, from the feet to the elbow. Go one more time. Rolling chin to the chest, elbows to the knees. Maybe you feel the belly working as you curl in, elbows above the knees if you can, forehead to the knees or above the knees if you can. And just feel how you're stretching the spine. And breathing. And then rolling all the way back up. Head and hands pressing again, if you can, slightly beyond But try as you go beyond that, maybe you start going to a back bend, but can you also extend forward through the tailbone? So you're pushing the hips forward. Don't do that if it hurts the back, if it pinches the back, but just see how much you could find that front body extension. Feet to elbows. And then slowly let's find our way back. We're going to reach the arms long. And here I want to try to squeeze with the Kali Mudra. We're going to try to squeeze the wrists together. So we're not having space at the wrists, we're squeezing them together. And we're going to try to reach up. As we reach up, we're trying to straighten the elbows. We're not going to twist, so we're going to try to get the elbows to touch, but without twisting the arm. And we're going to see, can we go up, 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 and slightly in front of the face? And from here, how much could you lift? Now we are trying to lift the shoulders up. We're trying to lift the shoulders up so that we can stretch the belly. You want to look up to the hands and squeeze those elbows in nice and narrow. So the head is behind the arms, those arms reaching up. And hopefully you can feel this length in the belly because we're lifting and lifting and lifting those arms. And squeezing to the midline, straightening those elbows, squeezing the wrists together, using the strength of those last three fingers that are interlaced to really pull those wrists together. And then we're going to bring those hands wide. And as we come wide, we fold forwards and maybe keep the legs strong and straight. Now, really make a point of folding. We're not rounding the spine, we're folding. So we're lifting the heart, the chest, and the hands, palms down, or from that place, turning the thumbs up so that you're working those upper back muscles, squeezing those shoulder blades together. So you're seeing how far could you fold, lifting that chin up and forward and stretching into the back of the legs with a long belly. And so it really accentuates the hamstrings, back muscles working, and then we're going to come back up. So we come back up, hands reaching up towards in front of you, squeezing together, squeezing to the midline and lifting those shoulders as tall as you can so that you're stretching out the belly and something in the middle of the body. And we see from there one more time, can we bring those hands wide and fold, really folding, strong through the legs if you can. So we're working, stretching the back of the legs. Maybe you can lean a little bit to the front of the feet. As you fold forward, maybe you can lift those hands a little taller and squeeze them towards the midline behind you. So really working those legs, working the body strong. Let's find our way back up. As we come back up, this time bring those hands as wide as you can. Wide and up and narrow. Again, we're going for narrow, but this time maybe we can get the hands behind the head. And breathe and reach and squeeze and lengthen. Lifting, lengthening, trying to tuck the tail under and push those hips forwards to make sure it doesn't pinch the back. If it pinches the back, go back to this place in front of the face so that you can feel that length through the middle body. And then slowly we find our way back. And this time as we come, let's see if we can bring those hands down behind the back and interlace the hands behind the back. So again, we're trying to squeeze towards the middle, squeeze those hands together. And here we're going to see if we can fold down, and then lift those hands off the back as tall as you can. So as we fold and roll and lengthen, we're trying to lift those hands off the back, trying to straighten those elbows and squeeze to the midline if we can. Trying to get the head as far down the legs as possible. Just taking a few deep breaths. And then when we've had a little time down here, let's roll back up. Still with those hands interlaced behind the back. As we roll up, see if it's possible to reach those hands down behind. We try to open the chest. Maybe you can get the hands off the back behind. Maybe just supporting the back and opening. So really opening through that front body as much as you can. Again, head can stay forward if it's uncomfortable in the neck. Or you could take the head up and back as well. And then let's see if we can just find place back to a neutral, relaxed. We're going to take a weight and see if we can fold or roll the spine with the weight. So here, I like to hold underneath the weight because it allows us to get further down without the hands hitting the floor. If the hands hit the floor, we're just going to engage and bend the elbows a little bit to lift. Feel free to soften the knees and just allow that weight to pull you down. Just pulling down the upper back. Let the tailbone try to stay. And so you feel maybe the belly working. And then as the weight hangs down, if the hands don't reach the floor, you just hang and let the arms dangle. If the weight reaches the floor, begin to bend the arms a little bit so you can allow that pulling of the weight to pass into the spine. And taking a few deep breaths at the bottom, just exploring how is my weight transferred through the feet. And then seeing if we can roll back up. We do that in reverse. We allow the arms are bent, we allow them to extend, and we try to roll vertebrae by vertebrae. So you can feel maybe the core on the way as you get up towards the top. And once you get up to the top, maybe you can push the hips against the weight and just see, can you bring those shoulders back? Can you open into the heart, into the chest? And can you maybe take the head up and back if that's comfortable? So you're lengthening into that front body. And then we do it one more time. Just allowing ourselves to get used to carrying some weight. And allowing the spine to roll. And this place here of carrying with the arms extended, down nice and deep. And with the arms bending a little bit to keep the weight off the floor. Can be quite nice. You can carry maybe more weight sometimes as we roll back up than you might normally do, because this is a low place. We're going to see if we can, once we're up, once we're ready, we're going to see if we can bring our weight a little higher. So as we get higher with the weight, maybe you want to reduce the weight slightly. This place here, I like to be pushing underneath the weight to carry, to be able to squeeze, but we're going to go upside down a little bit as well. So you want to have enough over the top of the weight too. We're going to see from here, can we try to find, first of all, that lift. If you can, those elbows just pushing the weight up in front of the face a little bit more. As you do that, can you find a little bit of core engagement? Shoulders trying to relax down away from the ear. And then the goal is to sort of keep the weight here where it is. And this is heavier. If it gets too much, you can go back to that last place of holding the weight nice and low. Holding the weight down here. We're going to see, can we roll the spine? So begin to roll towards. And carrying this weight higher will make the belly work a bit stronger. I need to adjust my hands slightly as I'm going more upside down. And so this is a little bit like the previous variation where we had the hand behind the head, but this is all passing through the spine in a slightly different way. So as we come in, as we get down to our deepest, we're trying to pull the weight up. And then after a few breaths down there, you see, can we roll back up? And you're always welcome to bend the knees. If it feels comfortable, you might try to do with the legs extended to make it work a little stronger as we get to the top. Maybe you can again take the gaze up and back, and making sure that doesn't hurt the back. We're just seeing the exploration of how far in each direction you can move. Let's do that one more time if we can. If you want to go back down to lower or have a little rest, absolutely fine. When we start carrying weight, you're welcome to listen to what the body needs. You can increase the weight or decrease the weight if you've got options. And if it's too much for the body, take rest when you need. We find our way eventually all the way back up. And again, opening tool. If you can, looking out behind, carrying the weight in the hand. And then let's see if we can find our way back to straight. And here we're going to try to extend to see if we can find that lift. And we're trying to see how much can we go higher. So how much can we squeeze the elbows in to lift and lift and lift. And if you had a sense of that belly stretching when we were squeezing the arms together, can you find that here when you're carrying the weight? Can you lift those shoulders? Can you push the weight till you feel that something in the belly is sort of stretching? And here, the arms are too extended for us to fold unless you're carrying a really light weight. I would say we just explore just a little bit if you can. Try to take the arms, the hands a little bit behind, just to stretch the shoulders a little, and then explore coming a little in front and leaning a bit back. So just not really coming off that midline very much, but just exploring to feel just off that midline, just off that up and down line, to work the shoulders. But then most importantly, that in that midline, if you can find that lift and lift and lift, that belly extension. And when that's enough, we just find our way back in. And let's see if we can go back to hanging the weight down nice and far. So I'm going to suggest that we maybe just put the weight down. We're going to hold it from the handle. But we're going to see if we can keep the spine long. And maybe have one elbow on the knee. You're welcome to have one leg long if you prefer, or to have both legs bent. We're going to see, can we keep the spine nice and flat behind us and just find enough lift through that arm to have that weight off the floor. We're going to start with a little bit of twist and turn. And see how much you can allow that to move the shoulder. So you're exploring range of movement. And then we'll do the same on the other side. And then we're going to see, can we try to lift the elbow up slightly behind us and then allow that weight back down. You're just working that nice and slow. And it's only the arm that's moving, only the elbow really that's moving. Reaching up and back down, just feeling what we're exploring in. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Lifting that elbow up or bringing the hand towards the shoulder. And trying to be nice and slow with the movement. We've got sort of working that strength throughout, that we could pause anywhere if we wanted. You're not really going to pause, but we maybe just at the top. And then we find our way all the way back. And then we're going to explore a little bit, just walking the legs. So again, we're going to start with that weight. And we're just going to try and lunge into different places. So we're just warming up, waking up the legs a little. So if we were to step with the right foot, we'd lunge forward. And just take a step with the right leg, and we're going to bend that right knee, sorry. And the back leg stays strong and straight. So it's that right leg that's moving. Then we step back. We're going to step right foot to the side, and again, bending that leg that's moving. And then we find our way back. And as we step behind, again, we're going to bend the leg that's moving. So this behind one, the right leg moved, so the right leg bent. We find our way back. And then we're going to see if we can open wide, find a rotation, and again, bending that right leg, which is the one that's moving, and all the way back. And then let's try the same on the other side. So we've got the left foot, then it's lunge forwards, and it's the front leg that's going to bend. Find our way back. And to the side. And the left leg's moving, so the left leg's the one that's bending all the way back. And behind us, and again, bending that left leg deep as we can. And back. And then we're going to open the body and lunge back with a twist and all the way back. So that last one again, make sure that it's the leg that we're stepping, that's the one that's going to bend. And we'll try that one more time each side. So we just get into a flow with it. So we've got step forward, back, to the side, and back, behind, bending the leg behind, and back, and then opening behind, and back, and the other leg forwards, and back, the side, second leg, back, behind, back, and then open back, and back. Let's do one more time just to really feel into that. Like if there's any of those movements that are tricky for you, just take a little bit longer. So it's like we've glued the left foot to the floor as we step forwards, and that left leg is also fully straight. Come to the side. It's the right leg that's stepping and moving and bending behind. And then open back. Same with the other leg. And now we glue the right leg, it's in a splint. Can't move, foot is glued to the floor. Just exploring with the left leg to the side. You can go this far. Behind, you can go this far. And then open behind. And then let's see if we can carry some weight. So we're going to go straight to this. This low place of carrying weight is tricky for movement. It's like the weight will get a little bit in the way. We can do it. Let's carry it with the hands underneath the weight. So we've got a little bit of space. I'm just going to see if we can work that movement with the weight. We've got forwards, side, carrying the weight nice and low, go behind, and then open behind. And I like to carry underneath the weight with the hands, if that makes it easier. Let's try the same with the other side. Forwards and back. To the side and back. Behind. And open back. So you can play with how big you make these steps. And if you want to make them smaller at any point, that's also fine. See if we can always come back to these lower places if it's too hard when you come higher. We're going to see if we can carry this weight up above with two hands. So here we can't see so much, but we're, because the weight might be in the face, so you can like turn the handle away if you're carrying kettlebell and want to have a bit more vision. We're going to step forwards again. So that same exploration of movement. And here we just have to feel where we're carrying them back. We have to feel our sense of balance out to the side and back, behind and back, and open behind and back. So Cathy, try just for you, one behind and back, so straight back. You're trying to bend the back leg and push up. That's it. Good. And then we try with the other leg, forwards and back. To the side. If it's tricky, you can make smaller steps, smaller movements. Behind. So here, it's tricky when you're carrying the weight higher. Trying to keep the front leg straight and sit down and push up and back. And then we've got open behind. And again, we're trying to bend that left leg while it's moving and back. And then from there, we're going to see, and again, if it feels too high, too risky, don't do it. But you're welcome to stay at lower places and explore them again. If you're comfortable to, see if you can work with the weight high in two arms. And so feel absolutely free to make these movements much smaller. The more extended we get, the smaller we might make the movement. So stepping forwards, then reaching in and back, and to the side, and back, behind. And this can be a really tricky one because it encourages the body to fold forwards. We're still pushing up and tall, and open behind. And lots of exploration through the legs and with the other leg forwards. You have to find that balance and that sense of where do I put the weight? Side, behind, open behind. And let's bring that weight in. Release the weight down. And if you need to, if it feels good in the back too, just take the time to hang and fold. And release the head and hang the body again. Slowly roll back up through the spine. So we're going to try with the legs wide. And if we start with the legs nice and wide, and here we're going to try and have the toes turned in slightly. And again, we're going to roll down through the spine. If you need to, you can have a little bend in the legs. And while we're standing up straight, maybe we just see how deep we can bend the legs, how deep you can bend the knees, and how that works and stretches into the feet, ankles, maybe into the knees. And then we're pushing all the way back up to straight. And then find if you want to bend the knees, particularly when we're carrying weight, you can. Maybe you can keep those legs extended and roll down. Maybe you want to bend those knees and roll down. And as you get down to your depth, as deep as your head can hang, you might want to have a little exploration of bend the knees. See how down you can take the bum. And extend the legs, still with the head hanging as heavy as it can. Just see what, if any movement helps, maybe a little wriggle into the legs or a little movement through the spine, through the head. So as you get down, hopefully the head is sort of hanging, so there's not a sort of, I don't know, working tension in the head and the neck, so it can just shake out. If you initiate the movement, you can let it be soft. Maybe you can get the shoulders soft as well. Having a little wriggle of the shoulders as you hang forwards, a little wriggle of the hips too. And then once we've been down there a little while, let's see if we can roll our way all the way back up. And as we get back up to the top, let's encourage those hips forwards. So we're just looking, exploring, stretching something through the front of the hips first, and then if you're comfortable, maybe even shoulders trying to reach back or head up and back. And then whenever you're ready to, let's see if we can try again with a weight. So we're nice and low. If you find a weight, and then find your weight back with legs nice and wide. And again, maybe a little softness in the knees can be good. I'm just going to see if we can allow that weight to hang down. We're seeing, can we carry that weight down? That's going to travel more through the spine, going to encourage a bit more work through the spine. You're seeing, can you go down with control? But still this sense of seeing how much I can hang. So as we get down, probably the hands with the legs wide might reach the floor. If they do, try to bend the arms, so we kind of roll down from that holding the weight low place, and once we get down to the bottom, you might be carrying that weight right in front of the face. And we transition between those two sort of carrying resting places, as it were. And then seeing from there, if we can roll back up, rolling back up, and maybe the weight sort of stays and the arms end up hanging down. And see, as you get to the top, maybe you can push the hips against the weight and see if you can try to draw the shoulders back. So you begin to puff out the chest. open through the front of the hips. Just noticing what's going on also in the legs, at the ankles and the knee. And then let's find our way if we can. So you're welcome to do the same as last time. We'll go down this way and come back up the same as last time. We're going to see, maybe we can bring that weight in front of the face and see if we can find our way in. So you're curling the spine, feeling the belly work, and seeing, can you hang down with control? It doesn't force or work the back too much. If it does, then you just carry the weight low or reduce the weight down. I'm breathing here, and let's see if we can roll back up through the spine. Feel free to bend those knees if that needs to happen. We roll all the way back up. And then one more time, we're going to see if we can find those arms extended. Toes slightly in if you can, Imogen. So heels wide, toes narrow. So we've got those feet facing forward. We're trying to push nice and tall. And can you find your balance here? Can you find your extension? And can you try to lift those shoulders, push up and tall, so you're stretching something into the belly and squeezing to that midline. And maybe a little bit back or a little bit forward to come off that midline. If that feels a place that you could strengthen and stretch the shoulders. And then from here, let's find our way all the way back in. Let's put the weight down. We're going to turn the left foot out to the side. And we're going to work our Trikonasana movement. So the Trikonasana is all about stretching the inner thigh here. And it's not about rolling the spine down. We've done some rolling the spine. Here we want to see if we can fold. We're going to bring the right hand nice and tall, as if we're carrying weight through that arm. So if we can stack that arm nice and tall, and the more we lean, the more we'll pull the head away from the arm. But the arm wants to try to stay there and then back. But the movement we're trying to make is coming from the hips. So if we can do without bending the knees, obviously when carrying weight, if you need to microbend the knees, you can, but if you can find here that it's the action in the hips that's happening, that you're trying to find there, that you're working that. And if you can be strong in the legs so that you're lifting up on the knees, so you can be engaging those muscles. And then as you get down to as far as you can reach, you're just trying to still pull that in and let the spine fold. And then do you feel maybe something stretching in here? I like, particularly if we're carrying weight, I like to lean the bottom hand in. So at the moment, we're not necessarily carrying weight. We're trying to just find, where is that movement? Where is that strong and long? And legs trying to actively work into the floor. And can you from there try to push back up? So if you could keep that top hand as vertical as you can so the ear comes close to the shoulder as we get back up to the top. And then we can just do the same on the other side. So the left toe is facing forward, the right toe is out to the side. The left hand is going to be carrying weight eventually here. So we see, can we, again, be happy in the knees? We're lifting up on the kneecaps. If you need to micro bend, feel free, but eventually this wants to be a straight leg thing. And we're seeing, can we find this movement in the hips as much as possible? Might be there's not so much. Back leg really turned in, so it's almost like both feet are a little bit pointing to that right side. And we're seeing, can we find that movement through the hips? And then as we get down even deeper, we try just to accentuate that movement in the hips. We're pulling those hips back that way. And then we just see how far we can go. The right side of the spine stays long. And eventually we try to fold a little bit deeper by taking the spine down too, but still trying to lengthen. Feel free to lean. And maybe as you get down, if you're leaning in, you could try and just find that little side to side wiggle as well, so you can explore that side to side of the spine. Breathing, pushing tall, and then we're going to push all the way back up. And if you can, as you come back up, if you're carrying weight, when you're carrying weight, try to get the arm up extended first before you come in to release. We go back to the first side. So we're going to see if we can find our right hand tool. We're going to see if we can lean in, fold in, and this time we're going to see, can we just explore a little bit of movement? So twist around that vertical arm. Where does it want to be? It's with the weight will give you that feedback, and we try and turn back the other way. Always exploring the fullness of movement. Maybe it begins to twist and turn the spine as well. Got to work the balance. Now, if you feel off balance and you had something nearby, you might be able to lean or have something nearby that you could lean into, so it can give you a little bit of width inside or outside. When we come back up, we try to push tall with that arm and then find our way in and down. Same on the other side. So if you feel unstable down at the bottom, maybe you have a block or another weight that you could lean on. Like I was touching there, the roller, we're trying to fold in. So the movement is hips going backwards as we get down to our depth. Exploring that rotation in the shoulder. Rotation. The hand rotates, but the shoulder also moves. You might find that as you rotate, I call this towards the thumb, where the thumb is the rotating inwards. You might find that you end up almost facing down towards the leg as you rotate. Little finger across the front of the hand. It sort of encourages this open, almost to look up. And then we can find our way all the way back up. If you need to bend the knees to find those movements safely, you can arm reach into the sky. And then we're going to add our weight. So as we turn the left toes out and the right toes in, we're going to carry our weight in the right hand. And so here, we're carrying in just one hand eventually. So if you want to reduce the weight down from what you've been carrying already, that's absolutely fine. We're looking to find that balance, and you can spot with the other hand. So you can be like, am I comfortable there? If you can get into the one hand and then even try to push that taller, so the first hand couldn't really reach, and the second hand couldn't really reach. You're trying to lift that shoulder, trying to power through that side of the body. And then it's fine to make the movement smaller if we need. We're trying to push up and lean in. Maybe you're leaning above the knee and you're finding that's where I'm happy. Maybe you can come down deeper, but again, we want to keep it safe once we're carrying the weight. If we're happy here, leaning into the shin or above the knee, maybe you can find a little twist and a little turn. And whenever you need to, you can come back up. Twist and turn. And when you come back up, is it possible to lift the body up? The spine pushes toward the arm, comes up towards the ear. And then we find our way in. Ready for the other side. So you see, can we push that arm tall? Feel free to spot. And if that feels really hard to be in this place with the weight, maybe just working that arm extended, getting your balance here is absolutely fine. If you're going down into the movement we're seeing, can we fold at the hips? Can we slide down? If you needed a micro bend in that front knee, feel free. Can you lean into that bottom hand so that you can work that a little stronger? Twist and turn, work the balance, explore that movement in the shoulder. And then finding our way all the way back up and back in to release down. So we're going to soften the legs and do a little bit more with the weights, carrying them nice and high. Take care of me. And we're going to see, can we carry, so we're going to bring the weight into one hand. We're going to sort of have the feet hip width distance. From here, we push the arm towards, if we're carrying in the right hand. And then we're going to see, can we begin to bend the knees. Let's see if we can twist. I'm going to suggest towards the thumb. So I've got my fingers facing behind me. Towards the thumb is this inward rotation. So let's just try that. Inward rotation, outward rotation. So rotating in towards the thumb and rotating out towards the finger. And maybe I'll let the body also turn a little bit. So as I turn in towards the thumb, to sort of look underneath a bit the armpit, and it's sort of rolling the weight into the feet. And then we'll just find our way back in to work the other arm in that extension. I like to carry with the handle hanging underneath my hand. Got the arm there, reaching that arm tall. It just kind of gives freedom of movement in that rotation because there's nothing sort of hindering the wrist. We find, can we rotate towards the thumb? So the fingers coming over the head, we're pushing nice and tall, and then can I rotate outwards, following the finger, pushing nice and tall there. And one more time, rotating towards the thumb, or an inward rotation, rotating towards the finger, outward rotation, and you can allow that to twist and turn also the body a little. That arm is doing the work, and then we're going to see, can we find our way back in? And now we're going to allow the body to go a little deeper. See if you can find, as you're pushing that arm nice and tall, reaching nice and long, when we twist towards the thumb, we're going to see, can we slide, can we sit down and slide down and rest that left arm into the left leg. So we see once we get down there as well, maybe the spine can be long, we can lean into the bottom arm, we can find even a bit more twist and turn. And then from there we can see, can we push all the way back up. So I'd have the feet now probably about shoulder width distance as we work this. So we're trying to sort of almost, as we twist, we're sort of leaning in, sliding in, allowing the body to twist, the arm to come slightly to the side. We can slide down the forearm and then rest the elbow onto the knee if you can get that far. And then we'll find our way back up and in. Try the same on the other side. So as we turn towards the thumb, we're seeing, can we allow the body to twist a little bit underneath that arm, allowing the legs to twist and turn, seeing if you can get that right arm to slide down that right leg. Maybe you can rest into the elbow, push that arm wide. Maybe down at the bottom there, you have a little twist and turn. And then finding that way back, pushing up, 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 up. Lots of twisting, turning, complicated movement in the spine. We're going to take this a little further. Let's try it maybe without weight first, so that you can explore the movement. And if you can't reach all the way down to the floor, then you're welcome to use a block or something so that as you reach down, you can be reaching down to the floor. So here we're going to suggest weight is in the right arm, turning towards the thumb, sliding down that left elbow to the knee. And then we're going to see, can we go down a little deeper, hand towards the block, or deeper down, and if you can, down towards the floor. So the floor will give you even more stability if you need the block, and that gives you, it takes you to the edge of your reach, use that. Once we're down here, let's have a little exploration of that shoulder. So as we turn even more towards the thumb, maybe we end up looking almost through the legs, trying to keep that vertical of the arm, and then as we turn towards the finger, it's sort of this roll of the spine, wide, narrow. You allow that spine to twist and turn. And then as we turn towards the finger, let that pull you all the way back up. Nice and tall. Let me find our way in. So we try the same with the second side. Pushing the arm tall, we're turning towards the thumb, which is beginning to turn the body underneath the arm. We're sliding down, maybe the hand or the arm, forearm, elbow onto the knee. If we can, from there, we're reaching down to the block or down to the floor. And once we're down there, can we explore again our twist and our turn? So as we rotate towards the thumb, we might roll the shoulders forward so we end up almost facing down with the hand reaching behind. Rotate towards the finger, we're stacking more of that left shoulder on top of the right. Just a couple of times exploring that movement. And then seeing if we can slide our way all the way back up, pushing that left arm tall as much as you can, all the way up. So if that feels undoable, unsafe, then maybe keep working without weight or working with a lighter weight. We're going to see, can we get the hand down to the floor? Or to the block with a supporting weight. So we find that nice and tall. We're seeing, can we soften down, elbow down, arm pushing wide. Now, You see there's a little micro bending happening in my arm. Trying to keep that pushing straight as much as possible. Hand reaches the floor. And can you find that turn? That turn, that turn. And see how much you can twist and reach. Shoulders might rotate forwards. Keep it feeling safe. Pushing tall all the way. And then see if you can find your way back. All the way back up. And we'll find our way in. Or the other side. Trying to push pull, keeping it safe, so there might be a little bit of micro bending going on. But all the time we're pushing, we're sliding down, reaching down. Can you reach the block or the floor? Can you find your lean? And then twist and turn. And then find your way all the way back. You okay there? So once we have that, let's again just try a little bit without weight, just to explore the movement. So if we carry on with the right hand, we're going to be stepping back once we get down to the floor. So we're finding that rotation, we're sliding down, hand to the floor, and we're trying to keep this up and down. If I've got let's step the left foot backwards first of all, and then maybe try to turn. And if I'm comfortable there, then I'm going to see, can I take the right foot back too? And from here, we're going to see, can we maybe turn even the feet away? And we're still trying to push up and down, explore our twist and turn in the top arm. When we come back, doesn't matter if I can't reach as close as I started. When I come back, I'll bring my feet in, my left foot in second, and then I just get my body on top of the legs so I can get my way all the way back up. So let's try also one more time. One time without weight on the other side. We'll do with weight, taking it as far as feels safe. So if on your way down, you find like, okay, I got to the floor, that's enough. I don't feel I want to move the legs. You're welcome to stay there. If you're moving the legs, if you've got the left hand supporting weight, I'd step the right foot first. Then the left foot. You can come into a side plank, or you can bring the excuse me, the toes away to try and turn the hips towards the ceiling. So you begin to work that bottom shoulder even a bit more, and then you find your way back. Top leg forwards, bottom leg in, and then can you get onto the feet to find your way back? So we'll work this one time with weights as well, and then we'll bring it all the way down to the floor. Carrying in the right hand, pushing tall. Then with that feet about shoulder width distance, sitting down, leaning in, twisting, pushing wide. Then from there, I'm going to go further. I'm going to step the left foot backwards. And then from there, I'm going further, the right foot back. But remember, you can stop whenever you need. Turn the feet away and try to lift through the hips. And then finding your way back from where you came. So right foot trying to come forwards, left foot in next to the right. And then can you treble the bum backwards to bring your weight all the way back up. Then we find our way in. Last one. On the other side. We've got the left hand tall. We're seeing, can we bring that right hand down through those transitions? Right hand down to the floor. Here we bring the right leg back if we're traveling further. The left foot back too. You're free to bring these down to the floor if you need. You can twist and turn. And then it has how much can we find our way back? Can you bring that left foot forwards? Can you get that right foot near the left? And then can you find your way all the way back up? before we find our way in and out. That's quite a lot of carrying work today. Let's see if we can do just a little bit here. Heavier weight is going to be better or easier. Lighter weight is going to be using more internal core strength. And we're going to just see if we can hold the weight above the head. Now, to work it stronger, you could also have the arms more extended, and a bit gentler is to have those arms bent. And we're going to see, can we try to roll the spine up? So if you find it difficult to get the hips off the floor here, you might want to see if you can swing the legs and support the back. And then try and transition hands towards the weight. And see if you can find a way of staying here. If you're comfortable, you might extend taller and taller and taller. Open through the hips. The more you reach up, the more it stretches the neck. And then we're going to see, can we roll down? If you can, you try to roll down the spine, holding onto the weight. So you get to work vertebrae by vertebrae. If you don't have a heavy weight, you're welcome to use an immovable object. So if you're working from home, maybe you've got a heavy bed or a heavy chair or a wardrobe or something that feels more like it won't move. And if you can try to hold on to that weight over the head and see if it's possible to roll up through the spine to see if you can lift up. And if the weight isn't so heavy for you, then maybe the weight will lift off the floor as well. If you can use that as a counterbalance. So you could do that a little bit with the weight, lifting a little. If you can find that counterbalance movement to roll up and down through the spine, you don't have to lift the weight. If the weight's heavy enough to stay on the floor, then you can enjoy that. And if you working the weight in counterbalance, lifting the weight off the floor can be also a fun challenge. And if you prefer just to stretch out the back, then feel free to keep supporting the hands on the back. Just allow that body to stretch out nice and fun. Right. From here, when we find our way back down, we're just going to see if we can bring the weight above one shoulder, just close where we could comfortably hold it with one hand. And then we're going to see, can we extend the opposite leg down? So I've got the weight next to my right hand, just in a comfortable place where I can hold on to it there. And I'm going to pull the right knee across the body and maybe just use a little bit that weight to help that right shoulder way down and encourage that right knee a little further to twist and twist through the spine. Take a few deep breaths before rolling back through center. Let's see if we can do the same on the other side. So placing the weight somewhere maybe near the left hand. Right leg extending, just twisting that left knee across body. Seeing how far you can draw that knee to the floor, and then maybe the weight's sort of hitting that right shoulder, or maybe if it's not, you can just try and find this almost like you're not lifting it off the floor, but just about to. So that sort of engages a few of the muscles in the spine, the shoulder, in the twist. And then let's from here find our way all the way back. And let's see if you can just take a moment to release the body down. Allow the toes to drop wide. Allow the hands to be palms facing up. And just as you lie in relaxation, allow the breath to deepen. And scan through your body. Notice the things that you feel you've worked. Notice the sensation. And if there's any part of the body that feels unworked, unacknowledged, take a small moment now, just put your awareness there. Our practice is to explore with awareness. So that we can leave no stone unturned. Full awareness one day. No matter where we get stuck today. Maybe you want to roll the head, you like to hug the knees in. You might like to stretch those arms out or arms and legs out. Roll over to the side to be lazy, or you can swing yourself back up to sitting if that's your preference. Thank you for exploring yoga with Rachel and me this morning.